What does a designer do? A designer will take a problem and arrive at a visual solution through a project. A simple example. A company wants to change their perceived image as it's currently focused on a 30-plus-year-old audience, and they want to tackle a younger audience, let's say 16 to 29 years old. The designer will be in charge of changing the way the company communicates with their audience, updating their brand to reflect this new position. The designer will devise, set up, create the concept, develop, elaborate, and specify the solution for a problem. He will take a problem, research why it exists, work on alternatives to solve it, create prototypes, develop these ideas, test it with a sample of the target audience, and finalize it for delivery. The designer has to have a thirst for knowledge. He has to know how to study and hunt for information. Design is a multidisciplinary profession. Many times you'll have to become your client or become his target audience to be able to see the problem through another angle. Besides, it is vital to be always updated, and even though the basics of design never change, there are always new developments emerging in the market, and you need to stay on top of them. Must the designer know how to draw? As I mentioned before, you don't have to draw like a modern-day Leonardo da Vinci, but it's necessary to be able to transmit a concept using a pen and paper. My drawing is far from perfect, but it's decent enough to be able to sketch ideas in my mind. I won't focus on teaching how to draw, as there are many websites out there that cover the basics. Another way of getting used to the act of sketching with confidence is to practice it constantly. Always walk around with a notebook or sketch pad and a pencil, and whenever you have some spare time, draw. Draw anything. Items on your desks, ideas, existing logos, anything goes. Besides, being able to sketch out ideas really makes the creation process easier. Drawing a new alternative for a logo is much faster on paper than it is on a computer, for example. So what is design? With everything we've learned here, it makes it easier to understand what is design. Design is the communication of a message using form, lines, colors, and textures. This message must solve a problem, and for that the designer must create a project. And what is this project? I'll explain that in the following classes. Let's have an example of what a designer can do. How can a designer help a restaurant chain? He can project the logo or visual identity of the restaurant, take care of the visual communication of the menu. He can do the interior design so the user experience is consistent in all of the restaurants, and so on. Design may be a complex profession, but it's not too hard to understand what it is.